welcome to the school committee meeting of North Andover School Committee. Tonight, November 19th. That was really November 20th. We're going to try that again. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the North Andover School Committee meeting of Thursday, November 20th. It is just about 6:30. I call this meeting to order, and let's stand for the pledge.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Not my best start. We'll start with our consent agenda. Mr. Brown, minutes report.
Yes, the minutes of October 9th, as proofread by me with minor corrections made, are in the packet. And as far as I can tell, they're accurate and complete.
Chair will entertain a motion.
So therefore, Mr. Chair, I move that we give people a chance to look at them for a second, but that I move that we accept the minutes as presented in the packet for October 9th.
Second.
Thank you. Give everyone a few seconds to review if necessary. Alrighty. Mr. Moskovich?
Yes.
Mrs. Sams?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Moves 5-0. Grants, Madam Superintendent, I see large numbers on the grants.
There are some large numbers, so our federal grants came in. I'm going to ask Ms. Ando to walk you through that.
Absolutely. So these are our federal entitlement grants. And so over the course of the last few months, there was some delay but they were dispersed. And so you'll see Title I, Title II, and Title III. The team and I have to, I'm trying to make this bigger. The team and I have to explain what we're doing with all of the funds, and they have to fall within these parameters. So you can see the parameters there for Title I, Title II, and Title III. Title I is our largest one, which mostly funds reading interventionists at both the Thompson and the Atkinson schools, along with some other teaching assistants and other programs and things that work with students, people that work with students. And so most of them are varied. Title I goes from everything from staffing to materials to bus transportation for students to take field trips. And both of our Atkinson and Thompson are both entire Title I schools now in there, so we can use the funds for anyone at either one of those schools.
Ms. Ando, just so that the community understands what that means that Thompson and Atkinson are Title I schools, can you just do a little explanation of how they qualify for that?
Absolutely. In order to qualify as a whole Title I school, we need a school has to have at least 40% of their students as designated as low income. And so we are at about 41% at the Atkinson and just over 40% at the Thompson. So that's why those two schools get designated the funds.
And unfortunately, that's the part of funding that is not certain for next year, alas.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else on Title I?
So just in terms of these grants, so these are grants that we were expecting. So these aren't these are funds that we were expecting within our budget. So these aren't, we can't look at this and go, this is an additional money like other grants. This is, just want to be clear that even though these grants, some grants are extra for something specific, these are, whilst they're for something specific, they're already planned for.
And when we presented, sort of cart before the horse, the same thing. When we presented the grant at the last financial update that we did, these numbers were included in the grant chart because we had submitted, we just didn't have the formal piece of paper saying funds have been dispersed. So they were factored in.
And the delay in the disbursement was because of the federal government's delays in dispersing, nothing we did.
Correct.
Absolutely. So it's that we generally refer to these as entitlement grants, meaning we are pretty sure about the amount that's coming. in the previous spring for this fall. What we talk about when we get other grants, those we generally call competitive grants, meaning that's something we apply for and that would be extra on top of. But these are
Thank
worked
you.
into Gail's budget.
Let's go back to Lyndon Johnson in 1965, when he wanted to find a way to give some federal money to schools and decided the easiest way to do it, or the best way, was to basically a certain amount for every low-income child. Unconditional, basically. Almost an entitlement.
And then
But-
Title II and Title III?
Title II is focused on professional development, so that one we use over the course of all of our schools for different, for instance, we fund some materials out of there, such as the system that tracks our frontline, the system that tracks our PDPs and coursework for teachers. Also, teacher stipends for our teacher leaders that may be coaching other teachers in their work. Conferences and meetings, and then materials for teachers in order to do professional development. So Title II funds are used to fund professional development to improve outcomes for students.
Thank you.
So this isn't quite an entitlement in the same way as Title I, right? It's got a particular focus.
Yes.
And when we had a Department of Education, did it sort of check to see if schools spent the money in these areas?
Yes. So I have to submit a plan.
To our department or the federal department? To DESE.
To DESE.
But DESE has to report back to the now non-existent Federal Department of Education. Okay, thank you.
And Title III?
Title III is specifically for our multilingual learners or our English language learners. And so in this one is very specific in 3 categories, which is to increase the proficiency, provide effective professional development for the assessment and instruction of ELs, and provide and implement other family engagement strategies. And so very, very specific. I had to break this grant down into in all 3 of those categories need to be covered, and we have to prove that we're doing all of that work. And so generally the first one is spent on materials, the second one is spent on PD, that's specifically for English language development, and the third one is for our parent engagement efforts, one of which we had last night. So we had an LPAC meeting last night where our families came together, and so those were specifically funds devoted for those.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Do we need a motion to approve spending these?
We have to need a motion to accept them.
Yeah, so I move to
So move.
the title grants.
Thank you, Ms. Sams.
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Moskovich. Any further discussion? Great. Mr. Moskovich.
Yes.
Mrs. Sams.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Awesome. Welcome, lovely student representatives. How are you all tonight? Good. Important question as we get close to next week. What's your favorite pie?
That's a good question. That's a hard one too.
Would you like me to get? I'll share first, and then what you think. It's my favorite food, and I'm really excited for sweet potato pie this year.
Ooh, sounds good.
So,
I like apple pie.
Classic.
I'm kind of basic.
nice.
Same with the apple. Maybe an apple crumb with some vanilla ice
Ooh, a
cream.
crumb top and some ice. See, a la mode is a very nice thing. Thank you.
I like pecan pie usually.
Sweet.
Very sweet. I can do a little bit, then it's too much. Appreciate that. Okay, let's hear your very important report, though.
Okay. I guess I'll go first. All right. I'll just go like that. So the second annual turkey toss is November 26th. 4 games are happening this year: turkey bowling, a turkey toss, a pie eating contest, and a potato sack relay race. The entrance fee is a canned good or non-perishable item, and all of those items will be donated to the People's Pantry. Information was emailed out to students. The fall choir concert is happening right now. So yay, go them. The John and Abigail Adams Scholarship awardees were notified, and there's a breakfast on December 3rd. And on Tuesday, November 18th, NEMASC, Northeastern Massachusetts Association of Student Councils, was hosted at North Andover High School. I had the privilege of running a leadership workshop alongside my fellow state delegate, Natalia Panusos from North Reading. Over 12 schools attended, and we had around 230 people there. Our speaker was Jim Manning. He's the official Boston Santa, and he left students with the idea of allowing themselves to be a kid and finding those moments of joy.
Thank you, Allie, and thanks for running that workshop. I was able to attend it, and I really enjoyed it. But I'll move on to DECA. So DECA members will be going on their power trip, where many of them will learn valuable business skills, and this is going to be happening this weekend from Friday to Sunday, and we're going to go to DC. I'm very excited. And the DECA Community Service Team has had many volunteer events at Brightview Senior Living, with their biggest one coming up this Sunday, which is a game day where the volunteers will spend time with seniors and play board games with them to bridge the gap between generations. Past events include Crafts Day, Tech Support, and Marathon Bingo, and they're also going to be looking for more volunteers to help decorate the senior home for the holidays soon. Lots of fall sports banquets have been going on as the seasons come to an end. For example, cross country was yesterday night. And NHS acceptance, there's been a delay because of the record-breaking amount of applicants, which is a really good thing because it's really exciting. So more information is coming out for it this Friday regarding that delay.
All right. Quarter 1 grades closed November 7th, and Power School grades would have been finalized on November 14th. November 22nd, this Saturday, is the robotics tournament. There's a volunteer link in Mrs. Holman's latest update. Also, Writing Club has begun sharing and editing their market basket pieces and doing like performances during the club, as well as developing their website. ED and EA windows have passed for most schools, but RD and ED2 are to come, and acceptances have already started coming in, especially for EA enrolling in mission schools. And LPAC's first meeting was November 19th, which was yesterday, and LPAC stands for the English Learner Parent Advisory Council. So from what I understand, essentially students in the Spanish Honor Society volunteer at the Stevens Memorial Library in order to look after Spanish-speaking students, connecting language learning students with language-speaking families.
Thank you. Questions from the committee for our amazing students? What is the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship?
Oh, okay.
Would you like?
Yeah, you go.
From what I understand, the John Abigail Adams Scholarship is a state scholarship awarded to students that do well on the MCAS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it provides I think scholarship, the tuition costs at the state, any state college. Is that right? I believe that's correct. Yeah, any state college.
I believe it's for usually UMass.
Yes. If you use any of the UMass.
Yeah,
Any of the UMasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Even though it's no longer a graduation requirement, one of the reasons why MCAS still matters, you can still qualify.
I have a question. Turkey bowling?
Yeah.
I think it's exactly what it sounds like.
It is actually exactly what it sounds like. You take a frozen turkey and there's like a pile of canned goods and you bowl it at
You got a granny bowl. What's that one?
Yeah. Two-handed toss is okay, I guess.
I
Right
didn't
up-
sign up for that one.
I heard they were like smaller turkeys.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
Yeah. You gotta roll hard.
Badly.
they roll badly.
Kind of hard to roll them straight, I would think they would,
Who knows?
Just never heard that before. Okay.
Thank you.
You're probably wondering how the turkey held the ball, right?
Yeah, it was.
If the robotics competition, is that open to the public if they want to come? Is this the one that's set up, or is there a fee to get in? Do you know?
I don't know if there's a fee to get in, but I believe it's open to the public.
I don't think there's a, I'm a judge. I don't
Okay.
think there's a fee.
Okay, great.
I mean, I get in because I'm a judge, but
Yeah.
they haven't tried to charge me anything yet. But
Awesome. Thank you so much. Moving on to public comment. Is none. You're welcome to stay or welcome to go. whatever you need to do tonight. We have a little new business later on, if you would like to stay, about a policy change to student travel, but it's very small. It'll just be a first read, and then if you want to wait till next time to get some input on that, that's
Could
fine.
we move to change the agenda so they could participate in it?
Would everyone be okay with that? It's a very short item. Okay.
But before we do, I just wanted to shout out to Han because I attended that DECA workshop that you guys had. And she was she was right alongside me as a peer, as a judge. Yeah, we were, it was a mock competition, right? To get them ready, to get DECA ready for the big time, right?
Yes, it was really fun. And even the judges, as students, like we were able to get an insight on what they were looking for. So I heard a lot of students, like even as judges, were able to gain a lot out of that as well.
Right, the
So
juniors.
while helping first years, so it was good.
Yeah, so most of the contestants were the first and second years, mostly first years that were, some of them doing it for the first time, right?
Yes.
And then my fellow judges were people like Han that were juniors and seniors, experienced DECA people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sams, can you walk us through the proposed policy change to JJH regarding student travel?
Yes, I can. So, Mr. Hicks and I are on the liaisons for policy, so we're going to start to take some looks at these, and this was a good opportunity since we had a travel request come in to be able to look at this policy. And one of the things that we had discussed over some of these other ones, over these other trips, is the issues with chaperones and having Corys. So we added in there, you can see in red, that all adult chaperones attending overnight field trips with students must have a Cory that has been approved within this current school year on file with North Andover Public Schools. And then in the second paragraph, for final approval and preparations, that there is Cory verification for chaperones.
Yeah, and the one thing we should make note of, I mean, it's not in here, but Corys can easily be done at any of the school offices, free of
Or
charge.
here at Central
Or here at
Office.
Central Office.
Yeah.
Quick and easy process.
And this policy was last approved, as you can see, in 2004 it was revised in 2009, so definitely was up for a relook.
It's great to add it
good
in.
idea.
I'm shocked it wasn't there, because I think with all the discussion of the
Yeah.
Cory forms before, right?
Yep.
So thanks for taking a look at
Yep.
this one and finding out it wasn't,
Yeah, I also matched it up with MASC's recommendation for this policy. Everything we had in there before was what pretty much lined up. So we're adding this extra step. It's not in the MASC, but as we've discussed, we feel that should probably be.
Is that going to
Necessary.
be difficult for people?
No.
It's actually very easy. You can go to any of the offices, you bring in your ID.
To
It's
any of the,
at the schools, any of the schools, into central office, you fill out a form, you bring your ID, so
So-
that they can verify
And
it's
it's
you, and then
actually-
they run it through, and
It's
we
actually
grant it
standard.
or somebody else grants it?
No, we do it.
Well, because when I got mine to be an employee of the school system, I had to go up to Haverhill.
no, this is just a
That's
form
for
that they
fingerprinting.
That's for
Yeah.
fingerprinting.
You have to be fingerprinted. You probably went to Haverhill to be fingerprinted.
Yes.
But this is the Cory form. This we do
Yeah.
internally. We send it out through
Oh,
service.
okay,
And
yes,
then-
thank you.
And it's
Right.
standard procedure for all our other field trips
Correct.
and volunteers.
And
themselves.
anybody volunteering, in all honesty, anytime a person volunteers in a school, they should have a Cory. So even if a person is coming in to, for a one-time event, they should be Cory checked.
Yeah, and I think with the field trips, it just brought up that concern, especially when it's high school parents, they don't always think through that they still need to be Coried to be able to, accompany those students.
What's IJOA?
Yes, that just has to do with the, basically the importance of field trips, that they're educationally enriching to students.
Just another,
It's just a cross-reference.
Oh, it's another publication, or I'm just not sure.
It's another policy.
another policy.
It's it's our policy, IJ. Oh, I'm sorry, got it.
So question is, does it state anywhere in the policy, or maybe it's not appropriate, like who's responsible for making sure that the Corys are filed? Because we have it as a policy that they must happen. Who's
So-
accountable for making sure?
So, as we put in here, like the final approval will not be granted until all preparations for the trip have been completed. So usually the person who's requesting it, who's facilitating it, they need to make sure they have the details of transportation, accommodation arrangements, the fundraising efforts, all the things that when they come before us that they're putting in there that we know about. So we also want them to verify before they leave on that field trip that all of those chaperones are quarried.
Because I know typically they come before us before they know, just timing wise, before they know who the chaperones are. So we approve them on kind of the assumption that they'll be quarried, but we don't verify that because we don't, when we
Right.
approve it. So who's, to make question, it's kind of who's
That would
then,
be we'll have to ask the superintendent,
Yeah,
that operationalizing it.
That would be
Yeah.
operationalized, and I was just gonna say
Yeah.
the same thing, because sometimes they come like a year or two
Yeah,
in
in
advance
advance.
because they need
Yep.
to fundraise. So we will put some operational piece in where the principal has to verify all chaperones have a quarry
okay,
on file.
all right. So be the principal's it will be the principal's responsibility before the trip leaves.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that possible, or is it not practical to have, when you submit it? I kind of assumed that you wouldn't submit it if they weren't approved.
Well, but remember, so sometimes somebody comes to have a field trip approved maybe 2 years before they're gonna go on that
Oh,
field trip,
okay.
so they couldn't secure chaperones at that
Right.
time.
Thank you. Any thoughts initially? Not to put you on the spot, if you want to hold off or wait until next time, if you want you to at least hear the same stuff we heard.
I signed a Corey form literally 2 days ago to go read at an elementary school in Lawrence. Like, they're not hard. I didn't know they were not a thing that they had to do. That's crazy.
We had it in our, when they do our field trip form, says they have to do it, but the policy wasn't there. So this is cleaning up to make our policy match our practices.
Thank you all very
Thank
much. Love to hear public opinion on that if necessary next time, and we'll vote on it at our next meeting. Thank you all. Moving on to upcoming events.
All right. So a few things. So next week, on the 27th, we have the annual Thanksgiving Day football game happening on Thanksgiving morning this year. It's Andover hosting. So that's, I believe that football game starts at 10 o'clock. And again, it's Andover hosts this year, so it'll be at Andover Field. I think you covered the robotics and DECA. The NAMS musical looks like it is scheduled for December 4th through 6th. So that's coming up. It's 3 days. I did want to note that, as we heard tonight, there is a concert happening at the high school, and that's challenging when we have a school committee meeting. So we have reiterated with our administrators and they with their staff to not plan activities like those big activities, so families have the opportunity and we have the opportunity if we'd like to be able to attend. So I apologize on behalf of that, and we will do better moving forward. Tomorrow is North Andover CPAC Awareness Day, so that's our special education PAC. Miss Cormier is wearing some of the new swag, so their theme this year is Inclusion is a Verb. And then we're asking all students, staff, family members to wear yellow tomorrow to help support inclusion and diversity. It's a way of helping our special education families know that they are seen and heard and a very important part of our community. So even if you're heading off to work tomorrow, maybe you'll put on a little bit of yellow somewhere. So that's happening tomorrow. And then there's a couple other town events. So the holiday parade that the town puts on is November 29th. Some of the school committee members will be marching in that parade. It starts at 12 o'clock from the middle school. And the town puts on a tree lighting ceremony on Sunday, November 30th. That's at the Common, the North Andover Commons, and I believe that starts at 4. And I think I read online that the actual tree lighting will be at 5. And I think there might be some food trucks. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me. But I do believe that's happening as well. And then also linked for you is just a reminder of the food assistance programs that are available to folks here in town. The North Andover Senior Center, it just gives you a little bit of more information where you can take and leave food. The North Andover Police Crama Cruiser is coming up, and all that food will benefit the Merrimack Valley YMCA. And then also just a reminder to our families that you can reach out to your guidance counselors in your schools if you need any support, whether it be food insecurity or winter clothing. We also sent a survey out letting families ask for help that way if they need it, and I believe the town sent something out. So please don't be shy. There's lots of opportunities to support our families, and we want to make sure that we're helping folks.
I just want to put one more plug in for the food drive. I'll be there volunteering at the senior center from 9 to 11 on Saturday. So if you have anything to give, please feel free to stop by at the Senior Center and share with the rest of the community.
Great. And I'm just going to give another small plug for the robotics competition. It's this week, and no, it's not. Is it?
Yes.
Yes, Saturday at the high school. It's a wonderful opportunity, especially if they were thinking that's something you might be interested in. There's lots of different stations. You can see some live action. You can see some things on the stage. There's lots of places to walk around. So I'd encourage families to go and bring your kids so that you can get excited about robotics.
What time on Saturday?
Do you know what time it starts?
So I'm supposed to get there at 8:30. I think it probably, I didn't notice, but I would imagine it starts by 9. But I think it's the early part of the. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, the early part of it is mostly judging, where like the judges walk around, evaluate their notebooks, evaluate their robots and stuff. And matches don't start till a little bit later.
The what?
The matches where they actually compete.
With the
It's-
robot.
Is it the robots competing,
The
like the
yeah.
turkeys?
No. Well, I guess the
teams
the
that-
teams compete.
Mhm.
So the robots typically have an autonomous mode first, where they go for like 30 seconds to 60 seconds themselves. They've been programmed by the students,
Well,
but they
For now.
yeah. But then the next couple of minutes are students are actually operating them, right? And they often work in teams. They have some of the robots will have 2 students controlling them, so they have to teamwork.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes it's even 3.
Mhm.
So it can be as many as
it's
3.
kind of like Sesame Street, right?
It would,
One person does the voice and one person wags the.
yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it.
The essence of all the robotics competition is there's a game that they tell everyone about in May, and then you have until the competition starts to build a robot to play and compete
That
in that
game.
game.
Right.
And it usually has to do with driving around, picking up, throwing things, whatever. It's like, and there's like certain parts you are and are not allowed to use.
It's
and
extremely technical.
Yeah,
And they are
it's really cool.
sometimes fixing their robots on the spot because
Oh,
something may
That's pretty
happen,
cool.
right? And that's really a part of it, whether or not getting back into the game. Last year, I think I got there like maybe around 11:30, 12. I can't remember. I can find out and we can put something out. But I had the opportunity to see then. They went into the auditorium, and then students were selected to be part of a grand team. It was really fascinating, but it just really, there's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into it, and these students have, like Mr. Hicks said, been preparing for well over a year to be part of this.
Yeah,
So-
teams will have like they have 5 or 6 students. Some of them are programmers, some of them are operators. They divide up the responsibilities. Some of them do documentation. It's like it's a real engineering project, actually.
So where does one go when one gets in the high school?
The field house.
The field house.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and I've taken my children in the past many, many times. It's always fascinating. They love it. They'll sit right out in front of the bleachers on the floor and just watch. It is really fun for
So
kids
what
to go
time
see.
do you tend to come?
It's been different every time.
No, I mean,
oh.
you might be able to shed light on what's the best time.
I mean, we
to
usually
show
just
up.
go in the afternoon.
Yeah, the matches.
Oh, it goes on all day?
All day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all day.
Oh, actually, it's better for me. Afternoon would work better
I think
than morning.
we can.
We'll
When the matches are, yeah.
we'll send out a little bit more information now that we've publicized it a little bit, but I do think it's, sorry, I'm not as prepared. It is a wonderful event, and I do think it's a great place to bring kids to help inspire them and to see the hard work that our students are putting in, and how technical it is.
The first time you go, at least for me, I was surprised at not only the level of participation, but the enthusiasm.
Me too.
They will have fans. It's like going to I'm not kidding. It's like going to a basketball game. It really is. I mean,
No, that's cool.
cheering and yelling, and it's fantastic.
Thank you. Superintendent's report. Madam
Yes.
Superintendent.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, wait. Okay. So I think, as Ally said, this week the North Andover High School hosted the Northeast Association of Student Councils. So that's where I took my pictures from this week. These pictures don't do it justice. It was a wonderful day. There was over 200 students there, 12 schools that were represented. We're really fortunate that Mr. Meehan, who is our student council advisor, is also the advisor of the Northeast chapter of student councils, put together a great program. The theme was sort of fairy tale. If you can imagine it, it can happen. The keynote speaker was Jim Manning. As Ali said, he is known as the official Santa Claus for Boston, the Boston tree lighting, but he also is a motivational and speaker, and he really did help. Not even students, but myself, his messages, you find the joy in the work that you're doing, that engagement is what you give in, but it's also what you get back. It's that sometimes you plan for things and they don't go the way that you had hoped that they would plan, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't value in what you did, in making hard choices. I stayed for the keynote. It was the best hour of my week this year. But before that, all the students, these kids that are here in the pink and the tan, they did some fun energizers and got the crowd going. And one of the things that I was sitting with Mr. Meehan and we looked, I can't remember what the prompt was that the keynote gave us, but something that you noticed, like he said, to, turn to the person you're sitting next to and tell them something that you notice here. It could be about a person, it could be about something. And Mr. Meehan said to me, I noticed that the students are all engaged and I don't see any cell phones. And it was true. A lot of engagement and talking with each other. I would have loved to stay, but it sounds like it was a really great day. So I'm super proud of North Andover for hosting, and I'm just really glad that many schools attended. And we really want to keep encouraging our students to participate in that. I think that our students sometimes have hard choices about whether or not they're missing class to participate in something, because they did have to miss class to participate in this. We want to make sure that we're not putting our kids in really challenging situations, because they truly are the leaders of our future. So moving on, some more recognition. Our Thompson School students are working on the S in the RAISE. So they were working on service. They collected 418 non-perishable food items for the People's Pantry. They also did something that they called Cents for Savannah. And when they cashed in all the cents that they brought in, they were able to donate $1,076 to Savannah. So that's great. Our unified basketball team, I talked to you about this last week, but they went to the Merrimack Valley Conference Jamboree that was in Lowell. Again, this team is coached by Meg Pinkston, who is our Director of Guidance, and Michelle O'Leary, who is our Director of Social Emotional Learning. The team got to meet Derek White from the Boston Celtics. Yep, and they had a really great time at the Jamboree in Lowell. Our varsity cheer students, they're coached by Jen Madalini. The girls competed at the North Sectional Championship over the weekend, and they earned a score that qualifies them to compete at the state meet this Saturday in Worcester. North Andover Middle School had their chorus concert this past Tuesday and Wednesday. Was sort of their trimester chorus concert. They performed on stage. The 8th graders dedicated their songs to Savannah, who was the student who was battling cancer at this time. Each of the grades was great. We want to thank Ms. Liakos, who's the choral director, and Mr. Nelson and Mr. Inos. Is that how you say that? Because they volunteered to help, and all the other teachers that volunteered to make this night wonderful. I attended on Tuesday night. It was a really upbeat, fun concert. And in the song that the 8th graders were singing, there was a line about light. And so they asked us to, be at a real concert and shine our light through it. It was really lovely. I sat next to a delightful grandma who was there for her student and said something she looks forward to every year. And she'll be sad when he goes to 8th grade next year because it'll be the last concert. So hopefully he'll keep singing for her in high school.
Mr. Inos also is a band teacher. He also teaches chorus.
Oh, excellent. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, Mr. Inos. We had several of our staff members who went to the CLE, Center for Leadership of Educational Equity Conference this during the time that we last saw you, during their fall meeting. Ms. Ando and Ms. Leahy, they co-presented with Michelle Lee, who is part of CLE, to hear about the programs that are happening here in North Andover. And then the picture, oops, go back for a second. That picture right there are our North Andover staff that participated. As Ms. Ando told you, there was a great turnout last night for the LPAC. This is the English Learners Parent Advisory Council. It was Wednesday night. The ESL team, their teachers of ESL students, they put that night together. They did a wonderful job welcoming our families. Kristen, do you want to add anything to that?
Absolutely. And so, yes, we had an amazing turnout. So many families. Our high school students came to help supervise the younger students in the library, and they had a ball as well. Pizza for everybody, and our ESL teachers went over some communications about communicating with school, resources that we have at school for families at home. And overall, we just had a really great night.
So this is part of the Title III grant in action, parent outreach, and supporting our parents. It is really true. Ms. Ando and I did graduate from Georgetown University. We had our official diploma came in educational finance. So we just wanted to show that it really, really is true. It's today's picture. Well, it's funny. My certificate came earlier, and Ms. Ando's just came yesterday. Maybe they were still grading her papers. So that's that.
You're an official Hoya.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know if I've get that far, but we'll see. And then we have some recognition for our school committee members. I know there's lots of other things, but here's two that I was able to capture. Mr. Brown was a judge for the DECA students during their mock competition. He was helping to prepare them for the upcoming competition that's happening this weekend. And then Miss Sams, Miss Cormier were marching in the North Andover Veterans Day Parade. Nice smile there. And then moving on to updates. We had a PTO PTAC. Ms. Cormier is your liaison for that here last Friday, so it was an opportunity for us to talk to all the PTO presidents. CPAC attends as well. They have some opportunity to share some of the things that are happening in their schools. They also talk about some of the issues that might be coming up. We share advice with each other. I do some clarification for some things for them. They've asked that maybe at the next time we give them a little bit of update about some budget activities that's happening so they can stay involved and share with their parents. It's a great group. One of the topics this week was about how our students who either transferred from one school into the schools or students who are new to our community, how they are feeling accepted into their new environment. And are there any glitches that we have felt and what we might do to sort of work that out. One of the things that came up is that some students came from a smaller environment where families were able to access school during the day a little bit more or access some of the school events, where now that our schools are a little bit bigger, if we have all the students in the cafeteria or gym, we can't fit the parents as well, and parents were feeling a little left out of some of the events. So we've talked about maybe some opportunities for CAM to help us videotape or some internal videotaping, or just being knowledgeable about that, but also helping parents understand that it's not exclusionary. It's the fact that we don't have enough space, so sort of giving that information a little bit ahead of time so they don't feel like they're left out. And then we also talked about some great ways that trying to get the fifth graders some opportunities in the sixth grade so that they know the school a little bit before they go. And the same thing with giving our eighth graders some opportunity to visit the high school so they know the school before they go. Anything else?
I think that was it. Just thoughts around possible synergies between some of the events between schools.
Yeah.
To just kind of help increase the opportunities.
Yes.
For our students.
So some of that, like we mentioned, a lot of schools do trunk or treat. So the idea came up maybe next year we do they do a town-wide trunk or treat, maybe at the high school. Maybe some of the high school kids could help. More kids could participate. It's one night. And then the other thing that we talked about was field trips. And I guess it's come up that the way that PTOs might support field trips, and then how grades are, how they determine what field trips grades go on. So we'll do a little bit of work around that. We talked to our building leaders about that as well. I attended the DESE staff attendance webinar. So this is the first year that the Department of Education is publicizing the attendance for staff in a staff attendance report. I linked it there so anybody can go on, and when you hit that link, it takes you to all of the schools in the Commonwealth, and you can see what staff attendance looks like. So this has mixed reviews from a variety of people, just to sort of put that out there. That's sort of what we talked about in the webinar, or what the commissioner talked about. But I'm just going to present a little scenario, and by no means is this trying to say that anybody is making bad choices, but it's just something to think about. So sort of, if you think a student, we go to school for 180 days. If a student misses 12 days of school, and a staff member misses 12 days of school, and if for some reason those are 12 different days if those days don't coincide with each other, that's maybe like 24 days of an absence of teaching. So you're looking at more of like 156 days of school for a student. And it's just, again, not looking for blame, not looking to call anybody out. I think it's just a food for thought as we're thinking about the way that we're educating our students. And there's been a big push for student attendance in the state of Massachusetts, and so really just taking a look at that. So things that don't count, so it only counts for absence, and this is for administrators as well as teachers, so when you're looking at staffing. So if you miss more than half a day of work, that's considered absent. If an administrator, who would typically have vacation days, if an administrator is on a vacation day, that doesn't count as an absence. And if a teacher is on an approved professional development day, that doesn't count as an absence. So the state average is about 93.4%. I would say I think North Andover is very close to the state average. But just some information for us to have. No, there isn't, unless maybe you did like that sort of Control F thing, but that's, I do it the way you do it.
You're close. We're getting by the alphabet. Somebody go by it. Go.
You're still in the M's.
M's, N's, you're in
Slow
Z.
down a
Keep
little
going.
bit. There you go. Oh,
There we go.
There we are. 92.5.
For all
overall,
staff. Yeah.
for all staff. So we're, above the state average.
And then teachers.
So,
So
and then
teachers,
if you
right.
scroll over, it shows you, I think that's it. Yeah, shows you the average absences.
So our teachers, just make sure I'm reading this right, our teachers, and this is for all schools,
All schools
have an average absence
of 13.
of 13.7 days.
Correct. And when you go up to the top, I do believe there's a drop down where you can look at schools individually if you wanted to do that.
Okay.
This is public information. It's on the web.
Okay.
It's out in the newspapers. I'm just sharing that I participated in the DESE. I feel good about North Andover's attendance rate for both administrators and teachers, but it's good information for us to have. We had a leadership meeting this week. Two of the big things that we talked about was understanding our schools, and this is very relevant to the work that to what Kristen was talking about with Title I. We took a sort of deeper dive at looking at the makeup of all of our schools, why some schools qualify as Title I, looking at our high needs population, looking at our ESL populations, looking at our low socioeconomic populations, and just understanding our schools a little bit better. And then we had a presentation by Lori Burzlaff. Lori is the assistant town manager. She did a presentation on the procurement laws. And that is part of the MOA that we signed with the town, that we would have a training on procurement. All of our administrators will also participate in an online training, but Lori came. It was a great conversation. We probably had, about 30 administrators, or 30 people who have the ability to spend money or to, potentially enter into contracts or work to contracts. Lori spent a little over an hour with us, taking us through the procurement manual, answering questions. It was really helpful. The assistant principals and the program coordinators, Kristen and I meet with them once a month as well. And the focus this time was on contract negotiations. We have 2 contracts coming up, the administrative assistants and the teaching assistants. And one of the things we're asking our administrators is to talk to us about the contract. What are things that are working really well in the contract? Are there areas that are not working well? Do you need clarification? So we spent some time in breakout groups doing that. I told you already, I was at the conference at the high school. It was amazing. that same day, that was a busy day for me on the 18th. That same day, I went to a NAPRN meeting, North Andover Parents Resource Network meeting. It was held at the Historical Society, and really thought, sort of talking about Lisa Roberts runs that, and Allie is her daughter, and Allie is her last daughter here in North Andover, and so who's going to continue that committee? And then sort of Michelle O'Leary attended with me, and Michelle is our director of social emotional learning, and maybe what the school might be able to pick up and how we might be able to partner with Youth Center, or perhaps partnering with some neighboring towns, because we also see that this Parent Resource Network does a really great job of getting together presentations, but we don't always have a great turnout. So if we partnered with some other towns, maybe there would be a little bit better turnout. But it's also one of the things that Lisa has been doing is she tracks the website that they have at how many times people go to look at certain resources. So even if we weren't having as many live presentations, the resources online are being accessed by lots of folks. And so how we're going to keep the website up and running, and a couple of things like that. So one of the things that came out of that is that I said I would bring it back to the PTOs when we have our next meeting, and Lisa is going to join us, so she can talk a little bit more about that, and maybe they can talk at their PTOs. We had a Kittredge School Building Committee meeting. I'm sure that Mr. Brown will fill us in on that when it's his turn, when that comes up. Again, we went to the middle school concert, sorry. We had early release this week, staff professional development. Our elementary staff worked on the implementation of the new math program. Joe Clark, who's one of our curriculum directors, had over 130 teachers at the Atkinson School, and they were all engaged in learning about our new program. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, it was excellent. Our curriculum team has put together wonderful. So our structure is that one of our curriculum directors designs the PD, and then our teacher leaders lead the breakout groups, so train the trainer model. And it was very exciting to go to the Atkinson cafeteria because Joe was leading 130 of our teachers that were doing the same work. So that was really exciting. I got there just as they were breaking off into breakout groups where our teacher leaders would then lead their peers through unpacking the next module. So good stuff.
The middle school had the SEB Academy, which is the Social Emotional Behavioral Academy. Mr. Gonzalez talked about this when he came for his school improvement plan. This is one of the this academy is supporting some of the work in the multi-tiered systems of supports for students and in school culture at the middle school. So they had some breakout sessions as well. Our high school staff is working on common assessments. So I think you heard Ms. Holman talk about going back towards mid-year assessments, end-of-term assessments that we hadn't had before or we'd had a long time ago, and bringing that back. And they're continuing to work on Portrait of a Learner. And our teaching assistants, they had their ALICE training, so we are refreshing all of our staff in ALICE, which is the oh gosh, I'm not even going to try to say it because I'll miss it, but that is the training that we use if we have an intruder or we have a dangerous situation within the school that we need to either keep our students safe in a lockdown or if they need to evacuate in the school. So we have two officers, Officer Enright and Officer Contreras from the North Andover Police Department, who are ALICE trainers, and they have already trained the high school. And this week they did the teaching assistants, and then in January they'll do the elementary and the middle school. And our central office team met today, and we have our weekly meeting, and there's lots of information that we're working on there, some great budget updates and some other problem solving. So it's a really great think tank. I'm almost done, I promise. North Andover Fields project, I just wanted to give you, this is an aerial view that someone took for us. So here's the fields. It looks amazing if you haven't had an opportunity to drive by, and I'm going to take 44 seconds of your time to show you this.
And I'm sorry if the volume comes out really loud. I will do my best to.
You have the volume thing.
Thank you.
Can you hit the 4 squares down at the bottom? Yeah. Oh.
that high fence.
Don't you love it?
So many balls get lost back
Yeah.
there. That'll really save a lot
I
of money.
believe Mr. Nugent told me that the construction company put that together for us, and it's just, I think the community should see what happened and the ways that they're supporting us, and it's going to be state of the art. It's just great.
That was
And-
from a community, from a capital improvement plan.
Correct,
Budget approval
yes.
last town meeting.
Yes, and the tennis courts are from community preservation. But they
CPA.
didn't-
Yeah,
CPA.
you can see the new tennis courts too.
Yeah, the new tennis courts are amazing.
They're beautiful too.
I keep asking why they're not open, but Mr. Nugent tells me it's a package deal. Can't have the tennis courts till we get the fields.
When is it done?
I think December it should be done, and then spring will be like obviously reopening.
Yeah, it'll be in use this spring.
Yeah.
I think they're still working on the approach to the tennis courts, and it's not quite done yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Holman and I keep saying we're going to have a battle. We're going to battle it out on tennis courts to christen them.
Oh.
Ms. Lathrop, may I
Yes,
bring up the Veterans Day ceremony?
yes. Go
Is that-
right
or
ahead.
you want me to wait?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. No, so November 10th, Thompson had their Veterans Day ceremony, which was really wonderful. They had Mr. Weathers, I believe is his name. He's a
Okay.
member of the Coast Guard, who's a member of our North Andover community. So he spoke with the students, and they asked him some excellent questions about his job and what he does and any adventures that he had. Miss Tybert put it all together. This is her first year doing it. It was done by our former school nurse who had retired, so this was her first year taking it over. She did a fantastic job. Miss Bebo coordinated some students to do a white table ceremony, which was beautiful. The students sang. They all had flags and waved them. We had several veterans in attendance, and then the PTO offered coffee and treats afterwards for them. So it was really wonderful.
It was great. It's so hard because all the schools do them generally on the same day. So I had been to Thompson last year, so I went to Franklin's this year, and they had a very student-led, which was part of Mrs. Radalski's student school improvement plan, more student-led activities. Sargent had a very robust, lots of veterans, and Atkinson had one as well. And this is the first year that all of our elementary schools participated in a Veterans Day program, so that was really great. Thompson has been a leader in that for many years, though. And then just a couple, where are we? Can you go back to superintendent? Sorry.
No,
And then
sorry.
I'll,
Oh, I closed it too soon.
yep, sorry.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Just a quick update on where we are with the strategic plan. We are highlighted, so we're in the building the strategic planning committee stage. We had 50 applicants. We accepted 35 people. It was really challenging. There were, it was great. People really wrote some wonderful reasons why they wanted to be part of the strategic plan. We would just want to remind those people that weren't selected for the planning committee, we will have focus groups, and that is an opportunity to have your voice heard, and there will be surveys as well. But we accepted 35. Our first meeting is on December 2nd for the planning committee. And then just one more slide. I know Mr. Hicks will speak about this as well, but this slide now will be part of, we'll post this so that people have this information. I have had some feedback that people are feeling concerned that they don't know what's coming up at school committee meetings or when they're going to hear information. So on the left-hand side, lists all the dates that you'll receive a budget update, as we agreed to a monthly budget update for FY26, and then it also shows the budget development timeline for FY27. And then on the right-hand side, it shows what some of our tentative topics are, sort of moving forward. So at the next school committee meeting, we are prepared to talk about the high school competency determination. I'm not sure, but the CIP budget is on there for now, and I believe CPAC has said that they're coming on December 4th. But again, just a reminder that these are tentative. And then you'll see December 15th is a tri-board meeting. On December 18th, for the school committee members, you see I highlighted transportation presentation. We're working on putting that together now. It would be really helpful, and I'll have Michelle send something out to you again. If you could send questions that you would like to see addressed in the transportation presentation, or if there are, if there's topics, if there's some specific information that you're looking for, it would be helpful for us to have that now, because Lucy and Gail and Greg Landry are working on putting together that presentation, and that will take a bit of time.
Should we send that to you directly?
Michelle.
To Michelle. Okay,
Yep.
sorry. Thank you.
Great. Okay.
Wait, say that last bit again. It will take a little bit of time to do what?
Well, so
Some
Lucy is
present-
putting together a transportation presentation,
Oh,
but I
okay,
don't
right.
want to just do it like tell you on Monday to send us some questions before the 18th. If you could start telling us now what you're hoping to see in that this was something you had asked for, what you're hoping to see in that presentation. We want to make sure that we're including the information that you hope for that night.
You want a note from us if we have questions?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Thank you. Okay, I'm truly done this time.
Thank you so much. And later in my chair report, I'll go back to the budget dates and some other important things as part of my message. Budget status update.
Miss
Hi.
Dowd.
Miss Dowd. I was going to say Gail, but
I could let the, recent graduate.
yeah, this is their final exam,
No,
right?
thank
They
you.
didn't take me up on it. I don't understand why. Great, so included within your packet this evening is an updated memo that we're now doing monthly. So I did want to let you all know that in meeting with the committee, with the budget liaisons, as well as the town manager, and we did go to the finance committee after the last update, I have worked to try to include some of the feedback that I received. So the goal this year is to continuous improvement as we're going through it. If there are additional data points or information that folks are looking for, I'm working to enhance it each time. So you will see each month it will look a little bit different as we're building it out. But hopefully after a couple of months we'll be where we need to be and the information will be what you guys are looking for. But so we did pull this together and the information was pulled, so I put the dates on here as to when I'm actually pulling the data out of the general ledger. And while it does seem a little bit earlier based upon when I'm presenting it here, town manager meeting was prior to the school committee meeting, so that's why we pulled it to get ready for the meeting with the town manager, because the goal is to present the same information to all the committees at the same time. So we are still looking really well. We're still projecting to come in slightly under the appropriation, so this is great news. We continue, I will say, on a daily basis. We're having discussions on where we are. We're going through the payroll reports every week as we're, have hiring, as we have different needs. A lot of, as Pam mentioned, we have our weekly meeting with central office. A lot of time is spent. Where are we? How are we doing? What are some of the concerns? How do we address it? How do we look to fund some of the items as they come up? I'm continuing to meet with all of the administrators. Today was a whirlwind day. I started at the high school, went to the middle school, went back to the high school, came back here. It was great. I have to give a shout out to the principals. They've been incredibly welcoming. I spent a good part of this morning walking the high school with the principal just to get a better sense of items as we were working through some of the grant funding. So people have been very receptive. They're being very open about any challenges, any needs. So I am meeting with them at least monthly, but they reach out. If they need me to come over more frequently, I am. I continue to meet with Steve Nugent in athletics to make sure we're doing okay. We're monitoring his user fees because he's got the balance of his budget has multiple sources, so we need to make sure the funds are coming in. I think Lynn and I just basically we're tethered together with, we talk every day going through the hallway, just making sure we're up to speed. So I feel as though we have a very good handle on the expenses. It does change daily, but we've been able to feel comfortable with all of the numbers that are in here. And what I have added within the memo is a lot of folks had questions about some of the key areas. I think that when you look at where is the risk in our projections, staffing is always a risk, but we have good controls. We have processes in place that we're reviewing the payroll. I would say the next area that to me has probably the most significant area of risk is within special ed, out of district transportation and tuition. So what I did look to do is I added a couple of charts in here to walk folks through. A lot of it, what I started to do is, Kristen, I apologize. Can you scroll down a little bit? Thank you. For those that are following from home.
Mm-hmm. In the right place?
Yes, you are. Thank you very much. So, Dave, this goes a lot towards your sources
Yes.
and uses. So,
Yay!
can I hand out? I'm going to give you stars, and we can put stars on the memo. So, what this does is I wanted to illustrate to folks how we went about looking at the budget for out-of-district tuition. We had funding from 3 sources at the time. We had the general fund, we made an assumption for circuit breaker, and we also made an assumption for the IDEA grant. And remember, we're doing the budget now. So it's November, December timeframe. It changes daily. So then when you fast forward, a lot changes in a year. So that's why the budget becomes very static and then things evolve. So fast forward to where we are now, we've been very fortunate that we did have some additional funding. The biggest piece is the circuit breaker came in considerably higher than we had anticipated. Part of that is,
Wow.
we're happy that the funding came in significantly higher. Part of the challenge with this is we don't have our final claim, because that's based on the claim that is submitted in July, which is 6 months after we do the budget. So we do not know what our actual claims are going to be. The other part that gets tricky is we never know what the state is actually going to fund it at. I will say, this was one of the first years I've seen them come out as strong as they did with the funding percentages that they did it right away. Normally they hold it back and you get drips and drabs as the year goes on. This time the state came out of the gate with, they released it. So happy windfall for us. I would say even going forward, I would not budget to assume that we are getting this level of reimbursement, because again, it really depends on the state, their funds, their rainy day funds, and the whole budget process.
The high amount, the unexpectedly high amount is the good news. The bad news is that part of the main reason for it is because we spent a lot of money.
Correct. It is
on
based upon our
students.
claims,
It's not
so
actually a windfall.
it's a windfall in how we budgeted it, but
right.
we incurred the costs last year, so the costs are already
But
incurred.
I like because of that, the carryover.
Yep.
That's
So-
very smart, and there's no, we
No
can do that.
penalty. Yep.
Well, sometimes you can't.
We
You lose it if you don't spend it at the end of the year,
Nope.
but this is an exception.
We can with circuit breaker. So the next item, which sort of explains how we're looking at our funding, is we also, I guess the skies opened up last year with the state. We had supplemental funding for circuit breaker that was not anticipated at all, and that funding actually came out really late. I think we got the amount after the fiscal year had already closed.
And that's the most additional funding that I've seen in my years come out.
The
at that point.
874,000,
Mhm.
where did that come from?
State, they just released
But
additional funding.
we didn't,
It was
it wasn't
based on
that
the
we
previous
spent
claim
more
that
than
they
they
gave us
expected?
No, they just formulaically, whenever they have additional money, they go back through and assign it. So we did nothing, we just
It was based
accepted
on
the
our
money.
fiscal year 25 claim that we had previously gotten money out of, and then
And
they
they had
dispersed all that, and then they're
additional-
like, hey, we have extras, so you're all gonna get a little bit more.
Yep.
The legislation actually specifies what the state's supposed to spend, right? But
Sometimes they hold it back, and then if there are additional funds at the end of the year that they haven't allocated, they'll do, this was very late that they
And
did
this was,
this one.
I don't remember the percentage in which they met the claim. I think it was almost at the full percentage. And then this was extra. Other years, long time ago, they gave us 68% and then held it and then went up from there. This, I do believe that it was almost at full fund.
the law is 75%, isn't it?
I know, I just don't know if it
I
really
remember
came back
and
at
I think
75 or
what gets
not.
tricky a little bit is they're also phasing in the transportation reimbursement.
Correct.
So that also becomes a little bit trickier because they're still figuring out how to audit it. So we were very happy to get that amount of money in. We also were able to preserve some of, which you can do, we're trying to also preserve some of our grant funding because we're seeing cuts, we're seeing delays. So this helps us over the summer months for some of the tuitions that we're paying So we had carryover from last year, and then we had the new grant funding. So our goal this year is, and we have talked with the town manager, the town accountant, and the finance director, they are 100% on board with what we are doing, is we have to spend down the FY25 circuit breaker first. You have 2 years to spend that. If you do not spend it within those 2 years, you actually have to give the money back, which you never want to do. And the same with the IDEA grant. You have X amount of time to spend it. So we are spending down prior year circuit breaker, prior year IDEA grant. Then we're going into general fund expenses. So we have started to charge to the current year circuit breaker, but the goal will be, to the extent we have room available within the general fund to absorb it, we will deplete the general fund first to build up. The goal will be over the next few years to attempt to get as close to 100% carryover. The reason you want to do that is you budget fact certain. So when I come to you with the budget, I can say with certainty, I have X amount of money in the bank for circuit breaker that I can use. And then what it allows you to do is, in the following year, if you have something that happens, you have a year's worth, you have the current year's to tap into, so you don't end up in a situation where you're trying to figure out how to handle the payments. So that's what these charts were looking to do. So, and we're targeting to try to get as much as possible to carry over, but there is a cap of how much you can carry over, which would be the 3.3 million.
So our goal is, based on these numbers, if I understand it, is we were planning on spending $6.15 million, right? And if we just in case, we're also planning on, we might need to spend a little bit more than that, so we hold that.
Yes.
So our total is this.
Yes.
But we're thinking that still leaves us to carry over another 2.1.
Correct.
In the
circuit
future.
breaker.
That would be 2.1 in circuit breaker that would be carrying over to
To
next
year.
fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be available.
And the goal
for
eventually
us.
would be in a few years to get that number
Up to
6,
the-
7 million, whatever.
No,
Or
it doesn't. No, unfortunately,
Just
it
for
does
whatever
not work
the-
that way. The maximum amount, if everything went perfectly this year, that I can carry over is 3.3 million.
Perfect.
You can't carry over more than you received.
perfect.
Oh,
That's okay.
Okay, so the line that says circuit breaker FY26 3.307.
Yes,
That
that is the
becomes your max.
maximum amount that you can carry over.
But we want to carry over
3.3.
as much of that
As much of
possible.
that as possible, yes.
Because that gives us the ability, if when somebody moves in and we want to do the very best things we can for them,
Exactly.
we can do that versus having to make some bad choices.
Yes.
So the
Great.
difference between the first block and the second block, they both apply to the same fiscal years.
Yes.
And one is what you thought when you started, and the second is what you now think is going to happen.
The first block is the funding sources we budgeted that was appropriated either through the general fund or through our grants. The second chart is what we actually have available for funding. So our funding exceeded
Wait.
what we thought.
Oh, you thought you were gonna have 3.9, but you only have 2.5.
No.
I thought I was-
From the general fund, from the general fund.
The general fund, the 3.9 doesn't change because that is still the amount. What changed was the circuit breaker number went up. We had prior year, I'm just calling it windfall supplemental funding from circuit breaker.
I see, and therefore you're not gonna need as much.
I'm not
from the
going to
general
need
fund.
as, I'm going to deplete the general fund and I'm not going to tap into the circuit breaker so that I can carry the circuit breaker forward.
And is it correct to say that the, in the middle block where it says revised availability by funding source,
Mhm.
that basically the third, fourth, and fifth lines were all unanticipated? Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, the
IDEA
third and
grant
fourth was.
certainly was anticipated.
The
Okay.
third and fourth.
Third
the
and
eighth-
fourth.
The bigger second, and then the third and the fourth.
Yes, the bigger
The
second,
bigger
third,
second,
and
the
fourth,
third, and the
yes.
fourth were unanticipated.
Correct.
Great news
Yes,
for us. Okay, good, cool. You get a yay for that one, too.
I'll take the yay.
I got about 3 or 4 of them in here, just so you know.
Happy
No.
Thanksgiving to me.
Yeah.
And my favorite pie is huckleberry, by the way. in case you-
Into David, right? Elma's just writing in there. She wants Huckleberry.
I want
do.
Huckleberry pie.
I like that too.
So the next section is the other question, and I would say that the other part that gets tricky, where there is always risk, is transportation. This one I expanded it. This is not just special education, because there is risk in transportation
Period. Yeah.
across the board. So this includes the homeless, the general education, in-district special education, and out-of-district special education. So this is, there's no changes in funding. This was just to give you a sense of how it's spread out between the general fund, grants, and revolving. And if you think about the homeless, there is always risk in there. Lucy and I talk every day. She's in my office being like, great news, someone came off homeless, and she turns around and goes, I just added 2 more for the one that I took off. So it is a daily changing process. We're very close to where we had budgeted, so we still feel comfortable, but again, it's a daily item. I mean, just to put a sense of it, you can be looking at $200 a day to transport a student. So
Because there's one child living somewhere, and there's no way.
there's no economy.
There's no
of
control
scale.
on that, right? They could move to Pittsfield.
And it's not,
yeah.
it's not like your regular busing where you're stopping and you're picking up kids all along the way. You've got student A going from here to there, and there isn't. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
So I just would say
unfortunate,
There is a
yeah.
little bit of control. So what the law says is that you try to not have a student on a bus over an hour. So if a student becomes unhomed or homeless, a family, and they do move further than an hour, we would try to work with them and that new school system. They still do, I mean, here, there's different things. The same thing if a child was in foster care. So we try not to have the student on the bus for more than an hour, but you do have to determine what's the best placement for the student.
And it's all part of the McKinney-Vento
Yes.
federal legislation that's been around since early 80s.
And we work very closely with Pam and Kristen to understand it. Lucy's great with the transportation. It all goes out to bid. I know we've had questions on that because it is dollar amounts each student. We get a minimum of 3 quotes. We go with the best price we have, so we really do everything in our power.
Are these taxi cabs? What?
They're not taxi cabs. That's just the name of it. It's actually
I
a
got
bus.
fooled by that
Yes.
one.
No, but I'm just curious. It's a little bus?
It can be a variety of things. It's generally like a small bus, but all of the places that we contract with are certified, and they have to have the correct certification and insurance in order for us to accept them. So there are sometimes people that will try to earn the bid, but they don't have the proper certification, so we're not able to accept them as drivers.
And is there only one adult in this vehicle with the child?
It depends. Sometimes there may be a monitor. It's every situation is different. So, sorry.
Sorry, question on this last part. So you got some anticipated savings here, but you also have an included estimate for potential placements. So I'm just curious how tight we are, you know what I mean? Like
we actually are doing, so I would say if I look at each one of them individually, the homeless transportation, had you asked me last update, I would have said, we've got a lot. We're getting closer to where we budgeted, but I still
Okay.
feel that we'll be okay. What's great is the general education, we're spot on to where we had budgeted because we knew how many buses we were going to need for the year. In-district special education, we do have savings in that line item because through great work with Lynn and her team and Lucy, we were able to reduce the number of in-district buses that we needed. Again, we're keeping a close eye on it because things change. So that is an area we do have some savings in it that we'll talk about in a moment, that we have some thoughts as to we have other needs within special education that we're going to reallocate some of the funds for.
Okay.
But again, that's one that we monitor very closely because as the needs change, if we have to add a bus, if we have to add monitors, it changes it. The out-of-district special education, I will say that's the one that is probably the toughest to truly predict, because we have the contract through SEAM, so it's, our students are with other students for the buses, and you pay per student per seat, and the rate fluctuates depending how many students are going to the same school. So every month, the rate per child changes depending how many students are being transported to a given school. So it's fun to predict that one. And as student needs change and placements change. So that's the one that has the most variability within it, but we still feel we're doing well within that one.
So, I don't want to pressure too hard, but I'm just curious, are you like, just so I understand, when you say that there's an estimate for potential additional placements, is there like, are we within 5, I guess the way to put the question is this: at this point in the year, are you, could we absorb like a 10% increase in this actuals and still come in? I guess what I'm really
Depends
getting
which
at,
line
is there like $100,000 a room here, or 200,000?
There's more than
There's
that.
more than that,
Yeah.
okay. So it's not that tight,
It's not that tight.
okay.
No, if it were that tight, I would be here saying I have concerns
Okay.
as to where I'm actually, Lynn and I have talked about this because we're constantly saying, okay, as the needs are changing, as student needs are changing, what do we need to do the right thing for the students? What do we need to do to ensure we're keeping as many students as we can in
Here,
district?
yeah.
What resources do we need? So we have had, we've talked about, we have had some changing student needs within the district. So one of the items we had talked about is that there are certain areas where we could use some additional consulting services to have folks come in to work with our staff to help build out, and if I say this wrong, build out skill sets, build out how we're handling and addressing the changing needs. So one of the items we've talked about is, because we do feel comfortable with some of the savings we have within the in-district, again, my in-district special education, transportation is lower than we budgeted due to great work with the routes. We're going to utilize some of that money to bring in some consultants to help us stabilize some of the areas within the schools that we're seeing pockets come up, because we feel that's going to allow us to keep the students in district. The money is all within the special education
Right.
budget.
Spent
So we're-
differently to
It's
improve.
spent differently,
yeah,
but for
yeah.
the same, this is gonna sound wrong, the same end game.
Right, no, I get
The
it.
result is we want to do the best we can for the students, keeping them in district. So we're being very, very strategic about it, and we're able to look at it and say, we were able to save here because of all the decisions we made. We're going to keep it within special education. We're not adding permanent costs. These are people to come in to help
Right.
assess where we are, make some changes, work with our staff. So that is how we're looking at this, so that we're making the right decisions, but working within the four corners of the budget.
Great.
Are you done?
Well, I was just going to comment that the added benefit, of course, is that they're here rather than going somewhere else. So it's more efficient and better for them, I would imagine, right?
Because in most cases,
Yeah.
we do a better job educating our kids than other places. So,
And easier on them too, right? You know, it's less
And they-
stress for them.
right,
Yeah.
and, I mean,
Yep.
it's the right thing.
Is it easier to work with the collaborative, would seem, than it would be with the private vendor, and is it less expensive for us?
For the consultants?
No, for the transportation.
So SEAM, we work with SEAM for we're in the collaborative for our out-of-district transportation. There is no collaborative for in-district transportation.
Well,
We all use the same bus company because there's really only one bus company, but the collaborative, the agreements and everything we have for out-of-district transportation is through a collaborative.
I guess what do we save, first of all, do we save money working with the collaborative?
Yes.
We definitely
And
do.
so I had a few, actually, I don't know, my 20 or 30 minutes with the head of the Crest Collaborative when I was at the Cape last week, and I kind of leaned on him about, could he do more of that? You know, just, we can't get in the bus business, but he could. And I'm just wondering how helpful that would be to us.
I would have to have discussions with them. Right now, we do have it, we're in a contract with SEAM for our out-of-district transportation, so.
I wasn't thinking only of special ed, I was thinking of transportation in general.
We would have to work through that because we're not in a collaborative with them for general education
Well, you are
in
with
district
Crest,
transportation.
aren't you?
They're still out of district, so we're
Crest is
not,
still considered
it would be,
special
ed. I mean-
it's special ed.
I guess we are a part owner of Crest.
I
They
don't have an
exist-
answer for that because I don't know what their capacity and buying capacity and if we would have, there's a lot that would have to go into it.
So their capacity is, at the moment, is what it is, but since they work for us and the other members, we can influence what their capacity is gonna be in the future if we and other of the member districts think that would be to our advantage.
Perhaps I think we still have several years left in our current transportation contract.
We do.
So I think as we get closer to that ending, that would be something we might want, like how we go about negotiating a new contract and what mechanisms we can pull would probably be something to explore. But I think I think we signed it last year,
And we believe we still have 2 more years with
Yeah.
NRT for transportation.
which is the same bus contract company as everybody.
Yes,
One-
that
to-
it is.
To go back, if I could, I'm just kind of curious, so if the principals are the people that sign off on spending on their schools, I assume?
In what respect?
Well, so most of it is encumbered, salaries and so on, but there's a certain amount of money that a principal needs for things like teachers spending extra time after school, that sort of thing.
So
And I
the,
just kind of wonder, how do they keep track of it, and how do they, I'm assuming and hoping they are making strategic decisions, but they're making them kind of aware of what the ceiling is.
so the principals each get, if I'm understanding the question, is it okay if I end? So each year, the principals get a per pupil budget. So I'm gonna make hypothetically, the high school gets $140 per student. So 140 times the enrollment, that's the principal's budget that they have full authority to spend. Obviously, we make sure they're not doing anything that would be counter to what the district is doing, but that's what they use for all of their various school supplies and everything that they need. There is a cap because their budget is their budget. The salaries, we budget the salaries. If they have not asked for additional hours that aren't part of grant work, what that we're doing, or other items, they wouldn't have full authority to have teachers doing extra
Are they-
items without speaking.
Are they sort of readily aware of how much is
The
left?
principals
They-
always,
yes.
they get there, they have their budget reports.
I
That's
meet
part
with
of the
them
meeting. Gail meets with them monthly. They go through their budget
Uh-huh.
report monthly to see where what they have left and what they might want to do. And then she's also doing the same thing as we prepare for FY '27. And so if a principal wanted to do something that would be outside their budget, they would have to get prior approval from Kristen, myself, Lynn, Gail, depending on what it is that they're asking to
And
do.
this would be both things like buying books or stationery,
Yes.
and also overtime and,
Well, books and stationery is usually, my expectation is that the supplies they need for their schoolhouse is in their budget, and they stay within their budget. Now, if they're buying books that may be supporting a curriculum or something else, depending on whether it might go to Kristen or to Lynn, but they do have, that's in the budget. Now, if they want to do something that is keeping staff and paying staff to do something outside of what we've budgeted, that would be something they'd have to come to us for approval for.
but inside budgeting, I guess I'm also interested, are they aware, do you provide them enough information that they know?
Yes, they know their budget, they know what they can
And
spend.
how much is left
And
and
how
all
much
that
is
stuff?
left, and,
Yeah, okay.
and we talk about substitutes, we talk about extra hours, and all of those things, well, substitutes, they have their budget, but extra hours, those are all prior approval. So if a principal chooses to do something that they didn't have prior approval from, then they understand that that is going to come out of, bless you, they understand that's going to come out of their budget somewhere, if it wasn't prior approval. I'm pretty clear about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for.
You're very welcome.
I really like the format you all have, the budget liaisons, and you have made. I always look at budgets as they tell a story, and I'm able to see what the story is being told here, and I'm not particularly great at these things all the time, and I'm getting better, but this is clear to a non-finance person, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and I just want to give extra special thanks for the sources and uses. I love it, and for the explanations, and I really appreciate the work. Really do. It's very good.
All right, moving on to, that ends the superintendent's report. Moving on to chair's report, community chats. We are going to have a community chat or two with students at North Andover High School. Clarifying question, is this in particular addressing the budget or just to learn more about their experiences and what we need to do to better support them?
It's a community chat, so we'll open it up to questions that the students have for us.
I just wanted to know in terms of like how we, like what dates, if that changes, which dates we want to choose.
These are all dates that are good. It's just around showing up and being there. And we know we have engaged students and we want to be there to hear from them.
Yep.
We picked, the principal offered during the lunchtime hours, so people will be, they have 3 lunch periods. So we can be there during those 3 lunch periods and be available to those students that want to come and have questions.
How many of these days do you intend us to be there?
I would
All of
think
them or just?
I would
Two
think,
would be
which, yeah, 1 or, I mean, we might want to, I picked a bunch of days to kind of see when people could attend, because it's during all of our work days, right? So what was going to work. So we could pick, and this is up to us, do we want to pick just 1 during this time period and then do another one kind of later on based on demand? I mean, 1 or 2, I was thinking 1, but we could do 2. We shoot for 1 and then maybe go later and see what the demand is.
I think
see what the show up is.
based on the chart, I have to be at work those days. I looked at them all. If we were to do 2, you could have Mr. Moskovich and Mrs. Sams on January 15th, and then Mrs. Cormier and Dave Brown on one of the other days, and not overlap and be able to get 2 in.
Yeah,
One
it's-
strategy.
Yeah, we put just need. I'll be honest. I was only looking for 1 when I asked, so I had to see what the principal too is
Got it.
comfortable with. Right. I was thinking more 1 in this time frame, and then kind of going from there. But I just put lots of choices down, not knowing what our schedule would be like.
So what would you like the next step to be then?
So in terms of picking 1, I mean, I think if we could get before school was out, maybe for break, maybe try to get the latter one in December. And then I can kind of check.
The 18th?
Yeah.
Is the 18th too close to the last day?
No, it's the week
Week
before.
before.
Oh, okay, fine.
I say we pick 1 or 2, and then I can get back to I think it was Miss Roy was helping me,
Yeah.
and then I can just make sure that nothing else has popped up on these days. So why don't we pick which one is our number? Which one? Let's say that the 18th is our first choice. December 18th, our second choice for that. We got looking at the yeses here. Is the last Thursday, the 15th of January, and let me check back with the high school and make sure that those dates are all still available, and we go from there. And we pick 1. How's that work?
Sure.
I will say my court calendar is filling up very, very quickly. I'm in the first week of January, and so the second week's coming very quickly. So I need to know to block that off soon.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on, calendar process. I had somebody reach out just wanting some information about how the next year's school calendar gets developed. So I would like to do this year is fairly typical as compared to other years, is by the end of January, the administration will present their first draft of a calendar to us at the school committee, and they'll include in there, I believe, an option for before and after Labor Day. And then we will discuss and vote on that at the subsequent meeting and the goal is to have it decided before February vacation. So that's the potential, that's what we would like the timeline to be. So that by February vacation, people will know when next year's first day of school will be. And I believe Labor Day is on the 7th. It's a late next year. So that's part of the calculus that goes into it. But we have a late Labor Day start next year. So again, we will hopefully we will have that decision made before our February vacation. Tri-board meetings, we have one on, this is a tri-board chairs meeting.
Chairs meeting.
Monday?
Monday or Tuesday? Let me look.
So just you and
Yes,
Yes.
just the
Cormier need
chairs.
to worry about it.
Yep. Yeah, it's on Monday. So just a reminder, this is the chairs and vice chairs of the Select Board, School Committee, and FinCom. We have started meeting periodically, just in the spirit of collaboration and communication between all of the boards. No deliberation, obviously, because there's only 2 members of each board that are there.
And then we'll report out at our next meeting on the 4th, anything we learn. Policy updates, and this goes hand in hand with the policy that we addressed earlier. Mrs. Sams and I are methodically going to start looking through all the policies and bring before the board any changes that we deem worthy enough to talk about and potentially make. The MASC does put out a policy newsletter periodically through the year. In August, the 2 big things that they put on our radar were, one, making sure that our policy for competency determinations, now that MCAS is no longer a graduation requirement, we have to have a competency determination policy in place by the end of the calendar year. We are bringing that to, the administration is bringing that to us next meeting, and so we can vote on it by the 18th. Correct, Superintendent?
Correct.
So we are taking care of that. And then the second is they advised us, MASC advised us to look at the rules around raffles. There's been some state laws that have changed, so we have to make sure our policies are in line with the state laws and for PTOs to be following the same rules. Currently, we are having town council look at those, and when she is ready, she will come and make a recommendation to us. It impacts like 4 or 5 different policies, and she'll look at all those and propose, let us know any potential changes that need to be made.
Correct.
So we follow state law. So that's where we are with that, and we're gonna, our personal goal is to start looking at the financial policies, correct?
Yes, which I think we're gonna start that. We'll try to get something in before the 18th.
Yep, we're gonna take a look at 'em right after Thanksgiving,
Yep.
and we'll report back what we think might need to happen next. Not some changes, but what we think needs to happen next for the financial policies. And then I forgot to put this on the list, so I apologize, but it came up yesterday. So I reached out just wanting more transparency and more an indication of what the budget timeline and budget process is. I know we had it up on the board earlier, but just a reminder to everybody, the public. I will put this into the meeting recap, and I've included it already in my message for the nightly news going out next week before Thanksgiving. Right now, the Fixed Cost and Revenues Committee is doing their work to determine how much money we will have coming into the town next year. From there, at the tri-board meeting on December 15th, the town manager will present her recommended increase numbers for next year. The administration's hope is to give us a very brief projected budget number, like just one big number, on December 18th. Until we know the report from the Fixed Cost Committee and the town manager's recommended budget numbers and what our projected budget is for next year, we don't know if what we're necessarily going to need to be asking for at town meeting. You know, that can be frustrating for people, but until we have those 3 things, we can't say for certain what the ask is going to be, and it would be unwise to start talking about an ask if we don't know what the ask is. But that's going to happen soon. We will have our full budget presentation, not just the number, but all the ways that the money is going to be spent. Our first meeting in January on the 8th. We will have a public hearing on January 15th, and we'll vote on the budget to be transmitted to FinCom and Select Board on January 30th. Of course, at any of those meetings, they're all open. Public comment is welcome. I would strongly suggest that we wait until we've heard the things before we comment on them. So, of course, you're welcome to comment at the beginning of a meeting, but we do have comment at the end of the meeting. So on the 18th, we will first hear what the budget projection is for next year. I would think it would be more appropriate to hear comments from the public at the end of that meeting because we don't know what it's going to be yet at the beginning. And then same with the other ones. That's why I like having public comment twice on our agenda so that people can wait to hear the thing and then comment on what was been presented. Of course, you can also come to our community chats, and we're going to have a couple of those in January during budget season, and you're welcome to email any member of the school committee and the administration at any time. And that is all part of how you can continue to give us feedback.
Chair Hicks?
Yes.
I know that you're going to link the dates in your snippets, but
Yep.
if people aren't part of the school newsletter, where can they find that? Where
Yep.
can the rest of the community
We'll
find
put
that?
them up on the
From on the website.
and I maybe I'll communicate them to the town. They can put them on the town website as well, so it's there for everybody. Because I know we have people who are going to be interested in these things that don't get my updates
Yes.
because they go to the school community. But we want people to know these things.
Mr. Chair, one minor correction. I think you said January 30th.
It's
but
29th.
29th.
Sorry, 29th. My addition was bad. I should take Mr. Moskovich's advice and never do arithmetic in public. It's very good advice. So that's where we are with that. And we are doing our best to be as transparent as possible. When we know things, we will happily communicate them in a way that is clear and accurate. For us to make conjectures or to speculate I think is not very transparent. So when we know the information, we will continue to do that in a way that is appropriate. Us not telling information to the public does not mean we're hiding things. Like, I literally don't know right now what the budget projection is going to be because they're still working on it. So until I know it, I can't talk about that number. Otherwise it would be, I think, irresponsible. So as soon as we do know the number, we will get that to people. And I am trusting that, because she's doing a fantastic job, that the superintendent and her team and the finance director, Mrs. Ando, are building a very comprehensive budget for next year. And we are eagerly waiting for that. But it's not due yet. So, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Brown, school committee building committee update. Kittredge.
Yes.
What do we know?
Kittredge School Building Committee. Very excited to tell you that the committee in full voted to approve the schematic design binder, all 870 pages of it.
Woo. That's some nice light reading.
It takes actually like a minute or two to download onto my computer. It's.
Do you have to print it out to read it?
No. You get PDF, but you've got to be patient. It takes a while.
I don't think I could read it on the
Big
computer.
PDF, yeah.
Not that much.
Oh, you can print it out. It's
You
a
can
PDF.
make the print bigger on the computer. It makes it easier.
But yeah, one could print it out. Anyway, we voted, I believe unanimously, to approve it. So it's going to be submitted to MSBC at their December meeting for decision in February. So it's well on its way. I do have the numbers.
Can I ask one clarifying question?
Sure.
Originally, it was getting submitted to December for December.
It was November for December.
November for
October,
December.
Actually, late October.
But we decided purposely to wait till December for February. Can you remind us
Yes,
why?
Because in the August MSBC meeting, the Massachusetts SBC meeting, they increased some reimbursement caps, and so as a result, by delaying, we were able. Actually, the full story is we requested that be considered if we submitted in October. They said no. However, if you submit in December such that our decision is after January 1st, then yes, we can consider the higher caps. So that's what we're doing, and it results in approximately $2 million of savings to the town by doing that. So that's the reason.
So that works. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the way it ended up.
Does this mean that the slow runner wins the race as
Abs-
opposed to the fast one?
Well,
Yes,
In
be
this
the-
one case?
Mr. Moskovich, be the tortoise, not the hare.
Exactly right.
Well,
exactly right, Mr. Chair.
as a lot of people say in marketing, timing is everything.
I like the way the chair put it. Very nice.
Timing is everything. Okay, so in the end, it is an $80 million total project budget, 79.8. And what we are expecting to get from the MSBA, the authority, is just under 30. So North Andover has to come up basically with simple arithmetic. I am going to do it in public. 80 minus 30.
Brave man.
50. So that's where
and-
we're going to be in terms of our cost.
And the goal is at town meeting, we will be asking the town to fund that by issuance of bonds.
Correct. It'll be a debt financed.
Override.
But we do not yet know if it will be a debt exclusion. That is part of the fixed costs and revenues thing that is still being determined.
Correct.
So we are going to issue bonds to pay for it.
Right, but they
Well-
might be within the cap.
They might be within the.
That is still being determined. And again, as soon as we know those numbers in mid-December,
Yep.
they're still doing all their work to figure that out.
So I wouldn't ask you to do this immediately, but do you have some rough sense of how much this means on the eventual debt service and what it means to the tax rate?
I don't, but I think that town manager will be presenting that at the tri-board meeting. I'm quite
She'll tell
sure.
us that number.
Yeah, she'll go through that with us there. I should also point out, there was, it's at least $2 million, and I think it was more, somewhere between 2 and 3 of engineered cost savings, value engineering cost savings that brought this lower to the number that it's at. In other words, we went through and said things like, we can get by with 18-inch cubbies, not 24-inch cubbies. I mean, I might have the dimensions wrong, but
right.
things like that. As a committee, we spent quite a bit of time going
The
through
36-inch windows are just fine. We don't need the 40-inch.
that sort of thing. Yes,
Because windows are expensive.
they are. And do we need 27 windows, or can we get by with 22? That sort of stuff. There was a lot of committee work on that.
Good.
But
Thank you.
it in the end, it was well worth it, because by changing different materials, things of that nature, good materials, not necessarily deluxe materials, right? We were able to bring down the costs, like $2.5 million approximately.
Yeah.
If I
It was a
remember,
great
yeah.
meeting. It was an emotional meeting, I think, for the committee to see that, to be able to make that vote and to see what it looks like, and taking the input from the surveys that we sent out from the community about, some of the things that were important to them in the building. It's a really great step for the Kittredge School Building Committee.
Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't, there was a lot of community input over the many months up to this. We had a couple of in-person meetings. We did surveys on look and placement, and this was, we also, by building on a clean site, save a lot of time and
money.
And time is money. Yeah.
So,
Thank you very much. Appreciate the update. We submit in December, so we really won't hear much from you until February.
let's see.
I-
Well, we'll want
I
to be
think
able
we
to
have
report
one
that
more
they.
meeting
yeah,
before.
we do have one more meeting before. I think it's in January
I think
now.
so.
Okay.
And obviously, they do have to say yes in February.
Yeah.
They're going to.
Right.
They are.
But yeah.
I'm confident in the thing that you all produced for them to look at. It's brilliant. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you to the committee for doing, the building committee for doing all that work and getting us here. Moving on to new business, we have an overnight field trip request for Cooperstown.
We do, so we have a first read on a overnight trip approval. May 16th and 17th, the baseball team would like to leave Saturday morning to travel to Cooperstown to tour the MLB Hall of Fame and then play a game on the historic field on Sunday.
At Ebbets Field?
Doubleday.
Oh, sorry, at Doubleday Field?
And so yes.
That's pretty
the
cool.
thing is, and it's over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. In your packet, you have an explanation from Mr. Doolin, who is the head baseball coach, and then an endorsement from Nicole Radulski, one of our principals, who is also a parent of a baseball player. And so it looks like the team's fundraising will cover the cost of the trip.
Wow.
And I'm trying to think, let's see what else.
Well,
No school is missed and no coverage needed.
I would love to give this a hearty endorsement. I'm a big baseball guy, player, fan, everything. I've had the privilege to play on that field a couple of times. If you love the sport, There's nothing better than that. Although I will caution everybody over 5'8", better be careful going in the dugout because it's a real headbanger.
Gotta be careful.
Literally.
It's it's really low, and I found that out the hard way. So be careful when you go in the dugout. No, it's a really terrific experience. And it's a great museum. It's a fantastic museum.
Awesome.
So in Nicole's letter, she talks about this group of students. They, unfortunately, during COVID, they lost their chance to compete in the Little League World Series. So these are the same students now who have this opportunity. Just sort of, I guess, wanted to make sure that you saw that part.
Fantastic. We will, if you have any questions, please let Ms. Sando know, and we'll vote on that at our next trip, at our next meeting. We already did our policy. Moving on to old business, reminder, we had opened up the naming process for the ABECC wing dedication in honor of Mary Lou Connors, founder of the ABECC, whose passion and dedication has made a lifelong impact on the children and families of North Andover. The plaque will be hung in Wing 1, the Building 1, the preschool side. We opened as a recap, we opened up the naming process based on a request from the committee, request from a group of parents and administrators on October 9th. We had public comment on the 23rd and the 6th, and it is now time to vote. We had nothing but positive feedback from the community, some quite heartfelt letters that I've shared with everybody over the past couple weeks. So with that, Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the ABEC wing dedication to Mary Lou Connors.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Moskowitz. Mr. Brown with the, what is it? I'm sorry.
Motion.
With the motion. I totally drew a blank on that. I'm like, where'd the words go? Any final comments?
Well deserved.
This is exciting and such an honor for her and for everyone all the lives she's touched.
Yeah. Thank you. I have nothing left. All the things that nothing I could say would be better than anyone else said, so I'll leave it at that. Mr. Moskowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sams.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Congratulations to Miss Connors.
Give that one a yay? Okay.
Moving on to communications, public comment. Member comments. Mr. Moskowitz.
So I spent 3 weeks, among other things, representing all of you at the Conference of Superintendents and School Committee Members.
3 weeks?
Sorry, 3 days. It actually seemed, it all went by really quickly.
I think that's a congressional medal of honor for that one then.
So I don't want to go through it in detail, but there were a couple of highlights. Actually, every session I went to was worthwhile, which was kind of nice. And things that would be of interest, I think. The recently retired Commissioner of Education, who, it's a wonderful story. He stopped being commissioner because his mother needed him to help her more. And he's gotten a part-time career working with MIT or at MIT on artificial intelligence for schools, and gave an incredibly informative and impressive session. And this is something that school districts can participate in, and I have his contact information, and I will, who shall I share it with?
I attended a webinar from DESE where they talked about that and gave us his contact information, so we have that as well, but you can share it with actually Kara Larkham. Kara has been leading our AI guidance policy. It's in a draft form right now. We are soliciting feedback from our educators, and then shortly, we haven't scheduled it yet, but Kara will come to school committee with Kristen and share what we believe is our draft, guidance for AI. But I'm sure she'd love to see that, have that contact as well.
So there were 2 sessions that had to do with understanding what happens to students after they leave and what we can do as a school to improve on them. And connected with that, I've known for a long time that the information about whether students graduate and where they go to college and how successful they are, and for that matter, how much they earn, is all available. And DESE, and I also knew that DESE had, to its great credit, worked on trying to keep track of that. So if we want to, and the district is entitled to the individual student files, so we could actually find out which of our students did well and which didn't. We could correlate that with their MCAS scores. We can find out who the most successful ones were and who the problematic ones were, and, you know, bring them back to talk to students, bring them back to talk to staff. That just seems like a really neat idea. And there's, you can go, anybody can go online and pick any district, like, for example, North Andover, and then get a plot of the percentage of students from whatever the last class was, I guess 5 years ago now. What percent graduated high school? What percent went to college? What percent finished? Really interesting stuff, I guess, Cara as well. I'll share that with her, how you do that. I went to a couple sessions that had to do special education and collaborative. That's where I got to talk to the head of the CREST Collaborative in a more relaxed way than at meetings. And there were some interesting ideas about things that collaboratives can do that I hadn't been aware of, and I'll maybe start with Lynn on that. I went to a session that was called, Do We Have to Meet Until Midnight?
I would like us to only meet until 8:30, so.
So there were a lot of ideas in there about how we could make meetings shorter, and I spoke with Ms. Cormier about this, and she wisely suggested that I see if I can get the presentations for that, which we can then share with everybody.
Thank you. Mrs. Sams, member comments?
Was I supposed to have
No.
Oh.
Completely optional. So if you have
It's
anything
like,
to
did I
say, you're
forget
welcome to
about
say it.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Just if anybody's still listening out there, remember robotics on Saturday.
Mrs. Cormier?
Yeah, just the only thing is actually just around kind of scheduling. Miss Sams and I are on the teacher's assistants contract negotiation. So just as we kind of start getting into that, making sure that we get dates out there very quickly as we're available, so we're able to meet all the deadlines and milestones to make sure we're successful there. It's key.
Thank you. I just want to bring us back to the budget update that we got from Gail and the team, and it's just like it's one of the big changes that we've seen in the district the past couple of years is like the level of transparency and telling us the information that we need to know when we need to know it to make sure that we're doing right by the district and our kids, and the monies that we are allocated that's being spent wisely. And like we have made a lot of those shifts, and sometimes I think people can get frustrated with not seeing all the things all the time. I just want to remind us that the work that we're doing has been hard and arduous, and we are starting to see the fruits of those labors. So thank you very much for creating a document that allows us to see where we are and to track where we are and to have confidence in the numbers. That makes us feel a lot better and secure, and I think it's a huge step in having us as a committee and in the system, having trust in the system, and the community having trust in us. So thank you. And with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Chair, I would love to move that we adjourn at 8:24.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Moskovich?
Yes.
Mrs. Sams?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy